My brother's stepdaughter falsely accused my husband of being inappropriate. Now I'm being called heartless for refusing to forgive her. The people involved: me 32F, my husband Derek 38M, my younger brother Matt 29M, his wife Jennifer 31F, their daughter Stephanie 16F, and my daughter Ashley 13F. My brother Matt married Jennifer 3 years ago, and she came into our family with her teenage daughter Stephanie. We all welcomed them with open arms, and I thought we were building something really special as an extended family. My daughter Ashley, who's been through a lot since her father and I divorced when she was 8, seemed to really connect with having an older cousin figure. 2 weeks ago, we hosted our annual Labor Day barbecue at our house. It's become a tradition, just close family, nothing fancy. Derek always does the grilling, Matt brings his famous potato salad, and Jennifer makes her incredible apple pie. The kids usually hang out together while the adults catch up. This year, everyone was there: my parents, Matt's family, and a few of our longtime family friends, the Hendersons, who've been like family to us for 15 years. Everything seemed normal that day. Stephanie was helping Ashley with her hair, they were laughing about some movie they'd watched, and Derek was teaching both girls how to flip burgers properly. Nothing seemed off at all. But 3 days later, Ashley came home from school absolutely distraught. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. When I finally got her calmed down enough to tell me what was wrong, my world turned upside down. Apparently, Stephanie had been telling kids at school, they go to the same high school since Ashley skipped a grade, that Derek had been inappropriate with her during our barbecue. According to what Ashley heard from multiple sources, Stephanie claimed that Derek had cornered her in our garage while she was getting drinks from the extra fridge, made suggestive comments about her appearance, and tried to touch her inappropriately. She said she managed to get away, but that Derek had been creepy toward her all day. I felt sick. This was completely insane. Derek has never, not once in the 7 years we've been married, shown any inappropriate interest in anyone, let alone a teenager. He's actually pretty awkward around teenage girls in general. He usually lets me handle any interactions with Ashley's friends because he's worried about saying the wrong thing or being misunderstood. I called an emergency family meeting at my parents' house for that Saturday. I told everyone they needed to be there, that we had a serious family issue to discuss. When we were all gathered, I confronted Stephanie directly about what she'd been saying at school. At first, she tried to deny it. She said people were misunderstanding what she'd told them. But when I pressed her with specific details that Ashley had heard, she broke down crying and admitted she'd made the whole thing up. The reason? She'd been feeling left out of her friend group because they all had boyfriends or had been in relationships, and she'd never even been kissed. She thought if she had some older guy story, it would make her seem more mature and experienced. She picked Derek because he was safe, meaning she thought no one would ever find out since it was just family. I completely lost it. I called her selfish, manipulative, and told her she had no idea what she could have done to Derek's life, our marriage, and our family. I said some things I probably shouldn't have said to a 16-year-old, but I was so angry I couldn't think straight. I told Matt and Jennifer that I never wanted Stephanie in my house again, and that if they couldn't control their daughter, then we needed to seriously reconsider our relationship. The fallout was immediate and devastating. Ashley, who had been so excited to have an older sister figure, was heartbroken and confused. She couldn't understand why Stephanie would lie about Derek, who she adores. My parents were shocked and didn't know how to handle it. Derek was actually relieved when the truth came out because he said he'd been getting weird vibes from some of the parents at Ashley's school pickup line and couldn't figure out why. Matt was torn between defending his stepdaughter and understanding our position. Jennifer was mortified and kept apologizing, but also trying to explain that Stephanie was just a confused teenager who made a terrible mistake. Within a week, everything had changed. My parents decided they couldn't have Stephanie at family gatherings anymore. They said they loved her but couldn't risk their reputation in their retirement community if rumors started spreading. Derek works as a high school coach, and even though Stephanie goes to a different school, he was terrified about what could happen if the story got back to his principal or any parents. The most heartbreaking part was watching Ashley struggle with this. She's in therapy now because she's having nightmares about Derek being arrested or losing his job. She's also dealing with the social fallout at school. Some kids are treating her differently because of the rumors about Derek, and others are angry at her for getting Stephanie in trouble when the truth came out. Jennifer ended up deciding that Stephanie should go live with her biological father in another state. She said it would be better for everyone if Stephanie had a fresh start somewhere else. Matt was devastated but agreed it was probably for the best. Now, a month later, Matt keeps calling me asking me to forgive Stephanie. He says she's been calling him crying, that she's depressed and wants to come home. He's asking me to consider letting her apologize, to give her a chance to make things right. He says if I forgive her, maybe Jennifer will reconsider and let her come back. I keep telling him no, I don't want her apology. I don't want to hear from her. I don't want her anywhere near my family. Matt says I'm being too harsh, that she's just a kid who made a mistake. But I can't get past the fact that she almost destroyed my husband's life and reputation for no reason other than to impress some high school friends. Derek supports my decision completely. He says he could never feel comfortable around her again, and he's worried about what other lies she might tell in the future. He's already having to be extra careful at work, making sure he's never alone with any female students and always keeping his office door open during meetings. The thing is, I do feel bad for Matt. He's caught in the middle of all this, and I know he loves Stephanie like his own daughter. He's a good guy who's trying to hold his family together, and I hate that this has put him in such an impossible position. Jennifer is struggling too. She's lost weight, seems constantly stressed, and I can tell she's beating herself up about her daughter's actions. But at the same time, I can't just pretend this didn't happen. Stephanie didn't just tell a harmless lie, she made up a story that could have ruined Derek's career, destroyed our marriage, and traumatized my daughter. And she did it so casually, so easily, that it makes me wonder what else she might be capable of. I keep thinking about what could have happened if Ashley hadn't told me right away. Or if Derek hadn't had such a solid alibi with all the people who were at our barbecue. What if the story had spread further before we could shut it down? What if someone had called the police or child services? What if Derek's principal had heard about it? The worst part is that I can't shake the feeling that this wasn't really about peer pressure or wanting to fit in. The fact that she specifically chose Derek, someone who trusted her and welcomed her into our family, feels so calculated and cruel. She could have made up a story about some random guy she met at the mall or a made-up older boyfriend from another school, but she chose to target someone who had only ever been kind to her. So now I'm stuck. I love my brother, and I want to maintain our relationship, but I can't have Stephanie back in our lives. Matt is begging me to reconsider. Jennifer is sending me long text messages about how sorry Stephanie is. And even my parents are starting to suggest that maybe we should consider giving her another chance. But every time I think about it, I picture Ashley's face when she told me what she'd heard at school. I think about Derek having to change how he does his job because he's worried about false accusations. I think about the whispers we still get at the grocery store from people who heard rumors before the truth came out. I know Stephanie is young, and I know teenagers make mistakes, but some mistakes have consequences that can't be undone. Some lies are too dangerous to forgive, and I can't risk my family's safety and well-being for the sake of giving her another chance. Matt told me yesterday that Jennifer is considering moving to be closer to Stephanie, and that their marriage is suffering because of all this stress. He's angry at me for not being more understanding, for not helping him fix his family. He says I'm being selfish and that I'm letting my anger hurt innocent people. Maybe he's right. Maybe I am being too harsh. But when I think about my daughter having panic attacks because she's worried about Derek, when I see how careful he has to be at work now, when I remember how easily Stephanie lied about something so serious, I just can't do it. I told Matt that I'm sorry for what this has done to his family, but that my priority has to be protecting my own family. I said that Stephanie made her choice when she decided to lie, and now we all have to live with the consequences. Am I wrong for refusing to forgive her? Should I put my family at risk again for the sake of family unity? I honestly don't know anymore. Update 1 week later. I want to address a few things that keep coming up in the comments. First, yes, we're absolutely certain Stephanie lied. There's no question about it. She admitted it. Multiple witnesses confirmed Derek was never alone with her that day, and the timeline she gave doesn't match what actually happened. Please stop suggesting that something really did happen. It's insulting to my family and not helpful. Second, I'm not going to change my mind about forgiving her. I've gotten a lot of messages telling me I should give her another chance, that she's just a kid, that I'm being too harsh. But none of you have to live with the consequences of what she did. None of you have to watch your husband worry about his career or see your daughter have nightmares. So please respect my decision. Third, I'm not responsible for what happens to Matt and Jennifer's marriage. I didn't create this situation, Stephanie did. I'm not going to sacrifice my family's safety and peace of mind to fix their problems. Now for the update. Matt and Jennifer have decided to separate. Jennifer is moving to be with Stephanie, and Matt is staying here. He's devastated, but he told me he understands why I can't forgive Stephanie, and he's not going to ask me to change my mind anymore. Ashley is doing better in therapy. She's starting to understand that none of this was her fault, and that Derek is safe. She's also learned some hard lessons about how lies can hurt people, which I suppose is valuable even though I wish she hadn't had to learn it this way. Derek is slowly starting to relax at work, though he's still being extra careful. His principal actually heard about the situation through the school district grapevine and was very supportive, which helped a lot. As for me, I'm sad about how this has affected our family, but I don't regret my decision. Some bridges can't be rebuilt, and that's okay. Sometimes protecting the people you love means making hard choices, even when those choices hurt other people you care about. Matt and I are working on rebuilding our relationship without Stephanie in the picture. It's not the same as it was before, but we're finding our way. Family is complicated, and sometimes love means knowing when to say no. I hope Stephanie gets the help she needs, and I hope she learns from this experience. But that's not my responsibility anymore. My responsibility is to my husband and daughter, and I'm at peace with the choice I made to protect them.